So because I took longer than I expected to actually finish this, I don't really have an intro. I'm going to go straight into it. Just one thing you guys should know is that I did make a playlist of the songs that are in here on Spotify. I'm going to link it below so you guys can go listen to it. And yeah, I'm just going to be mentioning the names of the songs in the scenes that are going to come out so you guys can listen to them afterwards and know exactly where they belong. So without further ado, I introduce you guys to my Volume 3 Prewrite. The opening scene will show Gamora running away from space cops. It's not the Nova Corps, but just another kind. She's gonna fight, but end up captured and sent to prison. The Marvel intro pops up with the song Whole Wide World by Reckless Eric. As soon as the Marvel intro ends, the song continues, and we get a montage of the Guardians going around to different planets and making up for the time they were gone. This song fits perfectly with both scenes, as the Guardians will go the whole wide world, or should I say the galaxy, to find Gamora. By this point, Nebula has joined them, wielding a new arm given by Rocket. After this montage, we see the Guardians return to nowhere, which has just been fixed up. We see how Kraglin has finally learned how to control the Yaka arrow and goes up to welcome the Guardians home. The Guardians, exhausted, all head their own way to rest, but Quill heads directly to the bar. Both Rocket and Mantis notice this. We cut to Adam Warlock, who is on a ship piloted by Aisha from Volume 2. She tells Adam of his mission to kill the Guardians, specifically Rocket. We see that they have found out that the Guardians reside on Nowhere. Cutting back to Nowhere, Rocket follows Peter into the bar. We hear a photograph by Ringo Starr play in the bar speakers. Quill is moping around, drinking. Rocket: is this just where you live now? I don't even need to ask people where you are anymore. Quill: just leave me alone, man. Rocket: look, I get it. Losing Gamora wasn't easy for me either. Hell, losing all of you wasn't easy. I'm even lucky just to see you again. Trust me, we'll find her. Nebula's on it. So why don't you go and help her? We see that Nebula is with Kraglin on the ship, trying to locate Gamora. Mantis, Groot, and Drax are all resting in their headquarters. Suddenly, we hear a loud thud as someone lands on Nowhere. Rocket and Quill sprint out of the bar to see dirt flying everywhere, and from the middle arises Adam. The rest of the Guardians come out, but Adam's eyes are locked on Rocket. He lunges forward. Rocket brings forth his gun and blasts Adam, but it doesn't even scratch him. A massive brawl takes place on Nowhere as Adam tries to kill Rocket. Quill, Mantis, and Kraglin are pushed aside, but all try to get Adam off of Rocket. Groot spends most of the fight shielding Rocket from Adam's energy blast. Nebula shows off the upgrades Rocket made to her arm. Her new arm morphs into a heated sword, an arm cannon, and other various weapons. She manages to hold her ground, but she doesn't stand a chance against Adam. Tossing her aside, Adam lunges towards Rocket, but Drax manages to shoulder tackle him. Drax's pushes are answered by Adam's shoves. He doesn't stand a chance, but every time he gets knocked down, Drax gets up. While Drax holds him down, Adam shoots out a beam of energy and strikes Rocket's waist. Suddenly, out from the sky, we see a shadow as Starhawk drops down from the sky with the rest of the Ravagers we saw during Yondu's funeral scene. They manage to overpower Adam. Aisha tells Adam to abort his mission, and he leaves Nowhere. Starhawk helps Quill get back on his feet, and he runs off to see Rocket. The blast went through Rocket's skin and hit a mechanical piece that laid inside of him. Rocket is in critical condition, but nobody knows how to repair him. They would need to find whoever made him. Rocket, weakly, says no, but the Guardians feel that they have no other choice. Mantis reaches out to read Rocket. She begins to feel agonizing pain, but manages to reach into his mind as Rocket remembers where he was created. Mantis: he was made by the High Evolutionary on Counter-Earth. Quill tells the citizens of Nowhere to look after their place and tells Starhawk and the group to look out for Adam as he may return. The Guardians board their ship. Drax stops Mantis. Drax, don't read me without permission. The Guardians manage to locate Counter-Earth and find a High Evolutionary, which lives in a massive palace. At first, the High Evolutionary refuses to let them in, but then Quill shows him Rocket. High Evolutionary: A9P13. What has happened to him? The Guardians explain the situation, and the High Evolutionary agrees to heal Rocket. During this time, Kraglin tells Nebula that he got an alert from the ship that Gamora has been located. She's being held in prison. Quill wants to go after her, but doesn't want to leave Rocket alone. So Groot volunteers to stay, and the rest of the Guardians leave to find Gamora. When they leave, High Evolutionary gets ready to patch up Rocket. Making Plans for Nigel by XTC begins to play. This song is about parents who plan out and decide the future of their children, giving them no say in their lives. At this moment, we get a flashback to Rocket's origin. We see as he is picked out from a bunch of baby raccoons and experimented on. We see Rocket thrown into an evolution chamber, which fast forwards centuries of evolution, which is quite painful. Rocket is then thrown into a cage along with a few other animals, including Lila the otter. Lila, are you a muskrat? Rocket, a what? No. Lila, what are you? Rocket, I'm me. Lila, don't worry, I don't know what I am either. Throughout their friendship, Lila calls Rocket different animals, trying to guess exactly what he is, with each one irritating him in a playful way. All they have known is experimentation after experimentation. They don't even know what species they are. Days and days pass, and one day, one of their friends comes back with a massive alteration to them. They begin to realize what is happening to them as each comes back with a metal jaw or metal arms, etc. But one day, one of their friends never comes back. And little by little, they begin to disappear until it's just Rocket and Lila. Knowing that eventually they will have to say goodbye, they decide to explain how they feel for one another, in a vulnerability we have never seen from Rocket before. Rocket, wanting to be happy with Lila, decides they will be escaping that very night. Rocket and Lila make a plan to escape. Once on the run, they are chased down and shot at. The facility begins going on lockdown. As soon as both of them were about to reach the exit, Lila gets shot and falls to the floor. Rocket picks her up, but Lila tells him to let her go because all she's going to do is slow him down. But Rocket refuses and manages to carry her outside. At this moment, Muskrat Love by America begins to play. Lila finally gets to see nature and finds it absolutely beautiful. Rocket caresses her face and wipes away her tears. Lila, go. Find out what you are, Rocket. We go back to the Guardians, who are putting on spacesuits to reach the prison where Gamora is being held. Mantis asks Quill if he will be okay seeing Gamora again, and he says he will. They go in, break Gamora out, and a big action sequence commences. Rock the Boat by Hughes Corporation begins to play. This song can be easily understood through just this part of the lyrics. Our love is like a ship on the ocean. We've been sailing with a cargo full of love and devotion. So I'd like to know where you got the notion to rock the boat. We find out that Gamora was in prison because she became a vigilante trying to right the wrongs of her past when she was with Thanos. During this breakout, Gamora is irritated at how Quill tries to flirt with her as if she is the same Gamora he fell in love with. Gamora, how about making sure we get out of here alive before you try anything? While trying to talk to Gamora again, she tells Quill that the person it sounds like he is in love with is Nebula, to which we get to exchange in one of the trailers. Upon escaping, Gamora goes up to Nebula and hugs her, saying she misses her. Quill understands that it isn't going to work out, and therefore moves his efforts onto Nebula, who is unsure how to comprehend his advancements. On the ride back, Quill plays Dr. My Eyes by Jackson Browne on the ship. Mantis notices Drax sitting and listening to Quill's music. Before this moment, Drax has never paid attention to Quill's music. He called Quill an imbecile for going back to retrieve his Walkman in the first film, and was asleep in Infinity War when the Guardians were singing Rubber Band Man. But here, Dr. My Eyes is about a man who has seen life's hardships and now fears he is left unable to feel anything. He's become numb. Mantis notices this as odd behavior from Drax and asks him if he is okay. Drax simply brushes it off. Remembering what Drax told her earlier, she decides to give Drax a hug as to not make it obvious she is reading him. On another part of the ship, we see Gamora and Nebula catching up. In a world where Thanos is gone, they're finally able to be sisters. Mantis walks up to Quill. Mantis. Peter, I need to tell you something. Peter, what is it? It's about Drax. There's something wrong. Peter, yeah, I know. Mantis, no, it's not like that. Mantis looks down, takes a deep breath in, then aims her glance right back at Quill. He wants to die. Cut to Drax. Peter stands in front of Mantis while Drax stares down both of them. Drax, why would you tell him? Peter, Drax, what is this about? Drax points towards Mantis. I trusted you. You said you wouldn't read me without permission. Mantis, you were beginning to worry me. I wanted to see what was wrong so I could help you. Peter, look, what Mantis did was not okay, but we need to talk about you. What's wrong? Drax, I have no purpose. Drax locks his rageful yet teary eyes with Peter. My wife and daughter are dead. I killed the man who did it. My next target was Thanos, the man who sent Ronan, and then that man of iron took that away from me. I have nothing left. Peter, I know how it feels to feel that you have nobody left. Drax, you killed the man who killed your mother. You found another Gamora. Peter, no, I killed my father. This Gamora, she's a jerk. You don't know how long I felt alone. Drax, and then you found out you have a sister. Drax storms out, leaving a crying Mantis holding on to her brother. We go back to Aisha, who has just finished patching up Adam Warlock. They know Rocket is on Counter-Earth and send Adam on his way. The Guardians finally land on Counter-Earth, encountering the life on the planet. They all seem to be animal-human hybrids. Suddenly, a streak of gold flies through the sky. Explosions can be heard as he flies through cars. Adam has arrived and is headed straight to the High Evolutionary's palace. Cut to the inside of the palace, where Rocket has just finished healing. He wakes up and Groot goes in for a hug. The hug is interrupted by the sounds of explosions. They see Adam rushing in, and Groot stands in front of Rocket. High Evolutionary walks in, prepared to analyze Rocket after the surgery, but notices Adam. Adam crashes through the window and charges up his blast. But before he can do anything, the High Evolutionary extends his hand and, using his telekinesis, freezes Adam in midair. The High Evolutionary brings him closer for inspection. At this point, the Guardians have reached the palace, amazed at the High Evolutionary's feat. High Evolutionary, astonishing. Could use some more improvements, but this is the most advanced human I have ever seen. We get to hear the High Evolutionary's background. The High Evolutionary began experimenting to further the evolution of humanity, trying to rid the world of evil by creating an evolved species not fueled by greed. Knowing that his experiments were highly illegal, he knew he couldn't experiment on people who could out him, and so decided to experiment on his dog. He manages to get his dog to stand on his hind legs, but the experiment went wrong and left the dog deformed. His dog manages to escape and torments the town. Mistaking his dog for a monster, it was shot down. He then knew he needed somewhere else where he can continue his experimentations and found a planet that he called Counter-Earth. It would serve as the base for his experiments. Find a planet that is the exact replica of Earth and create a highly evolved group of people. If it works, it serves as proof that he isn't crazy. Once he found out it worked on animals, he tried it on himself and enhanced himself to become what he considered the ultimate human being, capable of telekinesis, super strength, levitation, mass manipulation, energy blast, rapid healing, and an artificially evolved mind, all thanks to his suit. High Evolutionary wishes to use Adam Warlock to further his research, moving beyond animals. He reveals a little girl he had kidnapped to raise and become the ultimate life form, constantly running tests on her to ensure only the best. Adam will now help in her evolution and the evolution of mankind. Rocket, furious, stands up to the High Evolutionary, but all he does is laugh in response. High Evolutionary, look at you now, Guardian of the Galaxy. Without me, you wouldn't be anything. You'd be a dim-witted raccoon. Rocket loses his temper and begins firing at the High Evolutionary, but is easily stopped. High Evolutionary sends his man to get rid of the Guardians as he takes an atom into his lab. Meanwhile, Aisha hears this conversation and doesn't want her precious Adam used as a lab rat. She calls out to the Guardians and asks them to help her free Adam. Seeing as they do not stand a chance against High Evolutionary, Rocket tells them about his suit, which is constantly evolving him further and further each second, and the only way to stop him is to destroy the suit and reverse the evolutionary process. To do this, Rocket tells him about the evolution chamber where he used to spend many days being put through agonizing pain. Rocket gets noticeably worried and sits down by himself. Groot joins him. We are shown one final flashback as Rocket tells Groot about his father. Due to the constant experimentation and exposure to torture and machinery, Rocket's mind became altered, getting him in a lot of trouble. His cellmate is the previous Groot we knew back in Volume 1, who he is at first annoyed with. Rocket hatches a plan to escape, but leaves Groot behind. While escaping, a security guard aims his weapon at Rocket, but Groot shields him, and since that day the two have been united. We share a beautiful moment where Groot tells Rocket that he'll follow his father's footsteps and always be there for him. So the plan is made. Get in, Rocket and Nebula reach the evolution chamber and find a way to reverse the effects into a grenade to depower the High Evolutionary, while the rest go in and cause a distraction. As they break in, we hear Crazy on You by Heart. We get an epic fight scene. At one point, Nebula saves Quill from a blast, where Quill stares into the eyes of Nebula and says thank you before she walks away from him. Rocket, confused, asks, "When did that happen?" Quill, "What? Nothing's happening." Rocket, "I thought you were over that lifestyle, Quill. You can't just go from girl to girl." Eventually, they reach the evolutionary chamber, and Rocket and Nebula go on to work reversing the machine. The rest meet up with the High Evolutionary, trying to free Adam and the little girl. Drax manages to break Adam out. Adam, "Why are you saving me?" Drax, "Because now you owe me." Drax takes one look at the young girl and freezes before freeing her as well. Drax, "It's okay. I got you." The young girl hides behind Drax's legs. Rocket struggles away to contain the reverse evolution and tells the Guardians to lead the High Evolutionary close to the chamber. Once the High Evolutionary comes close, Rocket tells everyone to duck and cover as he and Nebula explode the chamber, striking both Rocket and the High Evolutionary. The two get up after the explosion, feeling weak. High Evolutionary notices his suit is malfunctioning and looks over at Rocket. High Evolutionary, "Do you believe you can defeat me? I created you. You are who you are because of me." Rocket, "No, you didn't. I am who I am, not what you made me. There's nothing like me, except me." Rocket finally gets unleashed on High Evolutionary. Rocket begins crying, seeing as the man who torments him is laying bloody in front of him. Peter, "He's gone, Rocket. Let's go home." Rocket, "No, not yet. I need this place to go up in flames. It's the least I can do for them." The Guardians look at each other and agree. Quill scrolls to his Zune and begins playing Any Way You Want It by Journey. Rocket gathers materials to create explosions and begins placing them around the palace. The entire palace has now been set, but we cut back to the High Evolutionary. Remember how I said the suit grants him rapid healing? The suit may have been damaged, but the process of de-evolution takes time. Just as Rocket was ready to say goodbye to the palace, the High Evolutionary comes back to stop him. High Evolutionary, "When they killed my dog, they took something special away from me. But then I made you, and you left me. And now that you have returned to your father, you wish to blow up all the memories we have?" Rocket tells the Guardians to leave and take the young girl with them. Drax looks back at the little girl and tells her everything is going to be okay. Groot begins to form wings with its branches and carries the little girl away. Gamora and Nebula follow after them. Quill, Adam, and Drax stay to defend Rocket, but he urges them to leave. Quill is about to fly away, but High Evolutionary uses his telekinesis to drop a pillar on his leg, breaking his jet booster. Drax goes to help him, lifting off the pillar from Quill's leg. He tells Rocket to move and tosses the pillar right at the High Evolutionary, knocking him down. Rocket, "Quill, get up." Drax, "He won't be able to fly out of here. You'll need to keep him upright." Rocket, "But what about you?" Drax, "I failed to save my wife and daughter, and I'm living to regret it. Don't let me make that same mistake again." Rocket nods and flies away, holding on to Quill, Drax, Adam, and High Evolutionary have a massive battle while the Guardians get inhabitants of Counter-Earth away from everything. Drax asks Adam to blast one of the explosives, causing it to activate the rest. Adam fires his energy towards one of the explosives. High Evolutionary stabs Drax right through the stomach with his own dagger, but he responds with laughter as the explosives go off. From outside, Rocket sees the palace crumble. The Guardians go up to comfort Rocket, but notice that he has begun standing on 4 legs instead of 2. The de-evolution explosion has slowly been going into effect on him. Fast forward, we get a shot to Quill's legs as he is walking off the ship. Mantis, it's okay, Peter. It's okay. We see his legs reach the ground and a title card appears. Earth, 2026. Peter's first visit back to Earth since Endgame. But this time, instead of leaving right away, he's staying. Quill, if we're not going to be with them, what will happen to the Guardians? Nebula walks out with Gamora. We'll take care of things. Gamora, without Thanos, we can finally correct our wrongs. Look, Peter, I'm sorry I'm not the Gamora you knew. If there's anything you would have wanted to tell her, I'm standing right here. Peter takes a long pause as his eyes tear up. Quill, thank you for having been a part of my life. Quill and Mantis now live on Earth. Mantis helping Quill heal through his trauma. This Must Be the Place by the Talking Heads, which is also my favorite song in the soundtrack, begins playing as we see where everyone ends up. Nowhere is finished being built back up. Rocket has gone through the de-evolution, turning back into a regular raccoon. He lives with Groot on Nowhere and is given love and affection by the young girl they rescued. Aisha has forgiven Rocket for helping free Adam, whose location is kept secret so he can appear in future projects. The citizens of Counter-Earth also now live on Nowhere. The song, This Must Be the Place, is about taking it easy in life. The title also refers to the feeling of being home. Quill is back on Earth with his sister. Nebula and Gamora are finally able to be sisters. Rocket and Groot now live in a peaceful life, and Drax has been reunited with his wife and daughter, while finally being able to get a second chance to save his family. And finally, Portable Radio by Hall & Oates begins playing as the credits roll. So I don't have any end credits planned out because I don't have any ideas for them. I think this wraps it up pretty nicely. I just want to let you guys know that this is not me predicting the plot. This is not me trying to get it right. This is just me from what I know from the first trailer, and I had seen the second trailer because I went to a movie theater and it was playing and I said, oh well. So this is what I managed to write with the information I had about the trailers as an exercise to get my mind rolling and see what I can do with this. I'm very excited. I'm going to actually go watch it on Thursday for the early screening, and I'm super excited. I am not ready. Even though I think this is a very emotional story, what I've written, I think James Gunn has something even worse for us, and I am not prepared, but I am very excited. Also, as I mentioned, the soundtrack is going to be linked at the bottom, so you guys can go listen to it. I added 2 other songs in there just so it can go up to 12 because I think 12 is a good number. So go listen to that. I think the soundtrack is amazing. I haven't listened to the soundtrack for Volume 3 because I want to be surprised in my seat when I recognize a song or I recognize an artist, or whenever I listen to a song now, I'm going to associate it with Guardians because that's the first time I, really heard it. Although I'll let you guys in on a secret. Around a year ago, James Gunn posted on the story like questions, ask me anything, and someone asked him for a song on Volume 3, and he did show off that it's Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips. So I know that song's in there, and if you were to ask me where that would fit with Rocket and his friends when they're talking, because they're kind of realizing like, oh, they're going to die one day and they're going to be alone. And of course, with the line, do you realize that you have the most beautiful face, will refer to Rocket talking to Lila. So that's where I would put that song. I got to finish editing this video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy Volume 3. I hope you guys enjoy this. And if you did, comment, even after you watched the movie, comment what was different, what you liked here, what you didn't like here, compared to the actual film. And just let me know if you guys want me to do more of this. Yeah, just let me know. I love doing this stuff, and you guys love watching it, hearing it. That makes it even better. So I hope you guys go watch the movie. I hope you guys enjoy it. I really do. And I'll see you guys next time.